Hey, Ziv here again for video 6, I believe. I'm gonna have a chat about AI and sort of how you can do your life hacks with AI, because it is a great tool and often free, basically free. You can pay for, but it's free. I actually walked into a bit of a windy spot to film, so I don't know if that's going to mess with the audio. I don't have a fancy mic or anything for this, but I might use some AI tools to try scrub any wind out of the video. See how I go. Haven't done it before. But yeah, using software to overcome hardware limitations. Another great use case for AI. What did you think about that? Let me know in the comments, and in future I can scrub out the wind sounds from the video with AI. So if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know anyway. I'll start with my history. I was interested in AI in the early 20-teens. Maybe even earlier. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I was playing this video game called StarCraft, and Google, I think they were called DeepMind at that stage, they were beating the StarCraft game. Now, whether that's a difficult game or not, I don't know. They had to limit the AI to actions per minute because a human just can't compete with the amount of actions that a computer can physically. So that was one of the limiting factors they gave it, but otherwise they just trained it on a whole bunch of games. And then it started making its own choices and really innovating. And then they did this with chess and Go. Hey, Hacker Ziv here. Just thought I'd correct what I said here. DeepMind started in 2010 and started with training on Atari games, and then in 2015 it developed AlphaGo, which beat the Go game, and then in 2019 it created AlphaStar, which beat the StarCraft game. So my timeline was a bit wrong, just thought I'd correct that. Cheers. Goes like a Chinese game, very complex. It's meant to be the hardest board game. So the goal was to beat Go, and then they would have developed an AI that, and I think it beat it in 2015 or something, 2014. Beat a human grandmaster, and that was considered that no computer could beat it because of the complexities of Go. And then it ended up doing it, and it ended up doing some really crazy moves. I watched the games that were super unintuitive to humans, and then it won off of those things. So it really innovated new moves, which is what could be expected of a human doing it. I've actually never walked this path this far before, so let's see where it takes us. Anyway, so yeah, I was interested in watching its developments from the early days. I mean, not the early, people were getting into it in the 90s. But from the early days of it really being commercialized. Now, language models, I guess everyone's typed something into chat GPT at this stage. Now there's a few ways you can run them. You can run them locally, or you can get the free version, or you can get the paid for version. Usually the paid for version is 6 months to a year ahead of what you can get free, but the tech is just going so fast that the free stuff is right behind there, or even up to date with I'm filming this at the start, first quarter 2025. It's
And this is where I actually have to date stuff because yeah, the tech is moving so fast. So I'm in late Feb 2025, and this video might not be released for a couple of weeks. So yeah, anyway, by the time you watch it, it's probably a few months old. Yeah, DeepSeek with its reasoning model, it's free. I mean, I can get one prompt in and it gives me one answer, and then from there it says the server's busy. And that's where running things locally is handy, because if you can get it onto your desktop, it can be faster if you've got the hardware, and it's more private. So like I have Chat RTX, which if you have a NVIDIA GPU, it comes with a whole bunch of softwares that run different AIs. So there's Omniverse. You can do cool things in Omniverse. I mean, that is a rabbit hole on its own. Everything. But Chat RTX, you can generate podcasts from documents. You can give it directions to file sets on your PC. Like, say I've got a business and I keep all my business files in one folder, and then I can point the Chat RTX to that folder, and then if I ask it anything, it uses that whole folder, whatever's in it, for reference. So I can have it analyze my whole business, which is private. I'm not uploading confidential client files or things like that onto the web, where I could be breaching confidentiality agreements and stuff like that. So running it locally is super handy. But you need good hardware, and like all the company, like the first thing Donald Trump did when he got sworn into office basically was say, we're going to dedicate, or with the help of investors, dedicate $5 billion into creating more data centers, and these data centers are going to need their own power plants. And yeah, you can't get enough of the hardware. So, and the hardware is expensive. If you're building your own PC, probably half the cost of it is your GPU. So it's not cheap stuff. And then, like, can you get 2 GPUs into a PC? Because I have a 4080, NVIDIA 4080. Can I now buy a 5090 and like run them back to back? I need to look into that and just buy another GPU, because the GPU power just gets sucked up so quick. Even like, you may have seen me jump on in the edits, and there's like a background, and I think it's, pretty good. It's not like what they put on Zoom or whatever. It's a pretty good background, and you can have it like, it moves your eyes, so you're constantly looking at the camera. All these things, and it just running that during a live video stream can chew up 50% of the power of a 4080 GPU, when it's all going. So yeah, you can't have enough power. And then the RAM as well. If you're loading on these bigger and bigger language models or whatever it is, image generators, you're going to need the RAM to hold the whole model. So yeah, minimum I'd be getting like 16 gigs of RAM.
FYI, I'm talking about VRAM here, or video RAM. It's on your video card, different to your normal PC RAM, just to make the distinction.
Anyway, it all, like, you can pay for having all the hardware offline, and then you're just limited by internet speeds and the amount of processing power some other company has. Anyway, so can't get enough hardware if you do decide to run it. And then I'd give it a go just downloading one of them. Like, get onto GitHub, run some Python scripts, learn what the basics of running your own AIR, downloading the models, integrating them, running them, having an interface, getting an IP address, putting up, all of those sort of things, just to familiarize yourself with it. See if that's a path you want to go down. A good one is like Stable Diffusion. Try download that, try generate some images, get a few different models, see how it works. I use image generators, Stable Diffusion. I love Midjourney because of its images. Also, when you're using images, I think a court case passed last year, and this is about the legalities of, might give you a few hints and tips, but definitely research this yourself if you're going to be, publishing websites or using anything out of an AI. But the court case basically went, well, there might have been multiple ones. I just, read and researched the outcomes. That if you create original work and then put it in the AI, and then the AI generates the product, and then you basically copy and paste that product and publish it, you don't have rights to it. If you get the AI to make something all by itself, and then you edit it, like say with Midjourney, you can do some in-painting. So the AI generates like you didn't draw a sketch image and have it like follow the sketch, or you didn't write a story and have it like edit it. You got it to write the whole story or generate the whole image, and then you edit the story and you edit the image, then that is protected under copyright. That's your material, which is kind of counterintuitive. The court cases are obviously not done yet. This is just the beginning. But yeah, I find it weird when editing something is more yours. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me, but it's more yours than if you draw something out and then just get it to polish it. You can still create something, get it to polish it, and then edit the end product, and then you probably have an even better case. But yeah, you can't just use something that was generated by AI, whether you had input at the start or not, and just transplant it. You got to have put time into it, and it's not just time into the prompt. You can't just put like hours and hours and hours figuring out the best prompt to create the best product and then use what it created. You then have to put input into what it created to make it your own. Anyway, that's just a little hint about how you can call some of the stuff that it makes your own, which, who knows, every country's still got to have court cases and determine where their stances are, don't they? But that's the most current thing that I've heard. But once again, do your research before using anything from an AI.
Just because we're speaking about legalities, I thought I'd jump in here. I'm talking about US law, because that's where most of this stuff is happening at the moment. Now, some of those examples weren't 100% accurate. The real thing is that for it to be copyrightable, it needs human creativity, and it will depend on the human creative contribution to the final work. So the amount of creative contribution you personally put in is really what they're going to be looking at, and how that was contributed to then find it. If you want to do some more research, I'll leave a link in the description. That'll get you started on having a look into this further.
So yeah, the in-painting tool in Midjourney is great because you can then just jump in and in-paint, which basically means you can change sections of a picture that don't quite look right. So I'm a builder, designer. I like to design in like a software program, which will give me, then I can create a 3D image out of that, and it gives me proportions. And then rather than rendering in the program, which everyone's seen the renders, I mean, you can get really good renders, but you can pick the render, they're not as photographic unless you Photoshop them, which is another program. It's just a lot of work. You can then take the bare bones 3D picture, and I mean, I haven't done this in a while, but I put it into Stable Diffusion because it had a control net, and the control net really meant I could force the proportions and the actual physicality of the image to be what the building would look like. If you just try prompt into an image generator what you want the building to look like, it's not going to give you 2 windows and a roof and a chimney on the left. You know, you can ask for that, but it's going to give you something really far away. Whereas the control net, bang, you can really control. Here's your source material, it has these proportions, 2 windows, chimney on the left, and it'll give you that. And then you start building the image out from that. Then you can chuck it into in-painting, those sorts of things. But Midjourney creates these beautiful images. I think they're some of the best. It doesn't cost me much. Like if I'm doing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign or playing in it, you know, I can get everybody's character descriptions and have a picture of everybody's characters in 0 time. It's super fun. Like I get my kids to, you know, write me something like a poster you want on the wall, or what you want for your birthday invite. And I get them to write it because I think prompt engineering is going to be a super valuable skill, and I'll probably get onto that a bit more in a minute. Super valuable skill for anyone moving forward, almost like using a computer and using Microsoft Word was, you know, 30 years ago. Maybe not quite 30 years ago, but yeah, you know what I mean. We still use Microsoft Word today, you know, to write things, save files, all of that sort of stuff. So prompt engineering is going to be very similar. I think we're going to get away from traditional SaaS, software as a service, or software tools, and move more into AI tools, and then how we prompt them, just like how you do it, run a Google search. So you had to put the right, like, who won the 2015 Football World Cup, you know, Soccer World Cup. You're putting in specific information, and then you have to review, you have to use your brain and sort of go, is this BS? Is this correct? Not correct? Oh yeah, there's some answers. There's lots of answers with the same thing. Here's photos. Yep, yeah, I know that answer is true. With an AI, you're going to need to give it really good information as well with your prompts. So anyway, give the kids, get them to write it down, and then bang, you know, in seconds you can have something that looks really cool, print it out, way cheaper than, you know, going to the store to get a birthday card or whatever. And cool fun, you know, especially for fantasy genres like Dungeons and Dragons, whatever you're playing, you can, yeah, chuck a poster up of whatever you like. It's, yeah, super original and fun. And then with, you know, architecture or whatever, you can make concepts like, get your Pinterest board or a whole bunch of images you like of a building, take some images of your site, right? You could just sit here and go, I want to build a house here, right? Take some photos of what it looks like around here, chuck them all in, and get it to start generating images that basically blends everything that you like. And It's really powerful in generating design concepts really fast and efficiently. Like, you can do that you could have 50 concept designs for a client in less than an hour. You know, you get them to send you the Pinterest board, you plug it all in to whatever AI you're using, and then off you go. So yeah, same thing with, you know, files. I'm using, so for the private company stuff, I jump on Chat RTX. Then for like anything research based where the information's public, so I'm a builder, national construction code is a thing you have to adhere to. Rather than me hunting through the national construction code, and they do have search functions, and same with anything. Well, let's say you do a course or whatever material you've got that you want something on. I use Google's one. I think it comes with like the Gmail that I pay for as part of my website and everything else. But it's called like Notebook LLM, I think. Yeah, you can put all your files into it. So say you did a course and it was quite an intensive course. I did like a WOOFY course, which is hygrothermal modelling of how moisture and heat move through building assemblies and where condensation points form, all of that. You can get all that course content, chuck it into your Notebook LLM, and then ask it a question. Have it generate a podcast on the subject, whatever you want. Make an article, make a study plan, a FAQ, so many options, and then it is directed to that material and just sources from that material. Then you can load up another one, have it fact check itself, all these things as you know, we get more and more into reasoning or into AI agents. You could create tiers of fact checking and parallel agents working on different things. Anyway, that's the rabbit hole for 2015 is AI agents. But yeah, it's a super handy tool for, you know, if you have a question from source material you trust, say you're doing a uni degree and you've got all the source material, really cool tool. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's what I use. Image generators for different purposes. Then like your language models, now DeepSeek with the reasoning has just come out. And my prompt engineering, you know, you have to change it a little bit. Before, when you're using ChatGPT 4 or whatever, I would ask it to do something like provide a list, and then like of your top 5 things, and then ask it why are these your top 5 things. So you're almost forcing a little bit of reasoning into its answer, but you're doing the reasoning then. So you're looking at its answers and why it gave you that answer, and then you're assessing whether that is a good answer based on what it has said. Whereas now with the reasoning models, it will reason to itself already. So you don't need to, in your prompt, ask it to provide its reasoning. It's just a change of how we write prompts. And once again, prompt engineering, rather than the tools that I've spoken about, a few tools, it doesn't matter what tool, you get your prompt engineering right and you're going to be able to use that tool so much better. And that's like in the real world using tools. You know, a carpenter can tap a nail into a stud and then with one swing, bang, all the way in, and that takes practice without bending the nail. That's using a hammer, and some people are terrible with hammers. And you know, if you want to get better at using hammers, you just got to use them more. So same with the AIs, you got to start learning to prompt, see what the outcomes are, and go from there. So yeah, the prompt engineering with better models just changes. It can reason to itself. So with the image generators, they're getting better as well. Everything is like a language interface. So the more creative the language, the more specific what you ask it is what you get. So the better you are at asking it to do something, and the more specific, concise, like having another AI help you generate the prompt. Like what I often used to do in the early days is get ChatGPT and I'd write the prompt something like this: describe for a GAN, which is the word for an AI that generates images, GAN. I can't remember what it stands for, but describe for a GAN what, Minas Tirith in Tolkien's, Return of the King looked like, in Tolkien's Return of the King book looked like. And then it would generate a prompt describing, from what it knows of Tolkien's work, what Minas Tirith looked like. And then you can use that prompt, chuck it into the GAN or your image generating AI, and you get a sort of a better result. But it also teaches you like how it's prompting and how to write a prompt. And then the more you just play around with it, mess with it, change your prompts until you get what you like, then saving your prompts. Like, just get into a habit with saving your prompts. Often with, like, say with Midjourney, the image you download often has the whole prompt written on, like, in the image details. So you've got the prompt with the image, and then you could later have an AI analyze all the images and see what like worked best or what was your sort of style. Your style, that is the prompts that worked for you, and then it gave you the images that you liked, whether they're longer prompts or shorter prompts or So yeah, the prompt engineering is something you're just always going to be working on. I think for the rest of our lives now, the AI is the new compute. Like there was old compute, which is sort of software, very rigid, and now we've got a new type of compute, which is AI, and everything's going to have AI integrated into it. So just getting your head around it is going to be a good thing, I believe. Don't care if you don't believe it. It's just my opinion. Yeah, so that's prompting. Get used to it. See how you can work with it. Getting the output of AI, maybe I shouldn't go into that, but like for students, getting the output so that you can use it as your written work. I haven't played with that too much yet, but I know, it's going to drive efficiency. I guess it's the same as for written work with publishing. Often, you can tell our work because it has very little character, so you want to add character to it. And then you want consistent character between your answers. But AI loses train of thought if you just start one conversation and ask it this and this and this. So then the new questions you want to start a new conversation with, and the AIs might get better. But I usually start a new conversation and then, having a prompt that you just put weird stuff into it. Sometimes I find, like, especially like image ones, there was like things like you would put in like steampunk core, and these images get trained on models, and the tags that went into the images that first went out, what it got trained on, probably never had like steampunk core as a tag on them. But people found like adding these weird tags gave like really cool results, right? And so with, say, a language model, if you go write an essay, and I find humans aren't perfect and AIs are generally pretty good. So I would say, like, at a year 10 writing level, to be more consistent with, you know, the way I write. And then, like, Jim wrote it. It could be as simple as that, and it's just going to add more flavor to the text, where people are less likely to pick that it was written by an AI, sort of thing, is I guess where I'm trying to get at. You want to still look genuine on your website or whatever you put out there, that it's, because there's so many AI blogs now and everything, and you can, I can, because I look at a lot of AI stuff, immediately tell if it was written on a lot of the stuff by an AI. And so getting away from that and keeping a bit of the human element, so the more realistic it is, like with an image generator, if it looks like a photograph, like bang on, and it looks like the site that you're building on, people are less likely to go, you know, that was AI made. It might have been photoshopped or something, but it wasn't AI made. This hill is steep. Just pretty big view there though. It's pretty cool. But it's recently got resurfaced, so, and some of it is pretty slippery, so I'm just taking it easy. Yeah, so there's some thoughts and tips on making the results more genuine. Now, the next step is, while prompt engineering is always going to be the thing, and the specific tool, like, who cares, the tools are changing so quick. Maybe eventually there'll be something that you'll actually want to learn the specifics of, but the tools are constantly changing, so just getting better at prompting. But is AI, like, AI agents are the next sort of thing that through 2025 I think is sort of the next rabbit hole on the AI. Like, we learned prompt engineering, we played with a few different AIs. Another AI I really like is like note takers. Oh, they're so good. Like an AI note taker. There's all sorts of different ones. You can get AI note takers to, like, watch YouTube videos and then give you summaries and things like that. Or you, like, in the building world or architectural world, usually there's like an architect running a meeting with a client, and then there's a junior architect taking notes. Getting paid junior architects rates, which are not cheap, and to offload that expense onto an AI, which costs you, like, let's say it costs you $25 a month, and you have 2 client meetings a month, and they're an hour each, and the junior architect gets paid something like, I don't know, 100k a year, and your hourly rate is what, 45 or something like that. 2 hours, it's $90, you know, plus super, whatever. You can see your $24 to have the AI note taker is just a huge saving. It's like 5x savings. So yeah, I really like note takers, especially if you run a lot of in-person meetings. I think they're a great tool. I did think about you know, Word had the dictate option, but it just doesn't capture, and it doesn't capture it the same. And soon Word is probably going to have, what is it, Copilot integrated into it, and it will have an AI note taker on it, which you probably, you know, you get it for free then. Once I said, like, these technologies, to getting them free is like 6 months behind. But yeah, AI agents, I wouldn't bother so much, you know, about looking at the coding. I'm just at the end of the track, and about the AI coding, I'll just wander about up and down here. Sorry if I lose my path, but this is a steep hill. The AI agents, yeah, you can code these agents and get them to do stuff, and I haven't even delved down that track. I think there's the interfaces like N8N or whatever, for one, that you can go in there and then you can specify the tools and the language models and everything, and start playing with building your own agents. It's really the next leap with AI. Is I'd recommend building one agent yourself just to see if it's for you. Like, even though my inbox is pretty good, there's still stuff that I like to see and I don't like to see, or stuff that I delete typically, stuff that I read, stuff that is from clients. And having an agent that, because in the morning at the moment, I go through and I just delete out and just sort out my inbox in the morning, respond to people, whatever it is. If I can have an AI agent that gets rid of the marketing stuff, tells me what it got rid, just so that I can double check it. I don't want a new client coming in and sending me an email and then it getting moved away to the trash or something by the agent. So it tells me what it gives me, a breakdown of what it did, what it moved to trash, what it marked as red, give me a summary of the ones it marked as red for low value emails. And then at the top of my email list is, it just leaves what it needs me to attend to. It's going to save me a few minutes a day for sure and make me more efficient. And that's probably a pretty easy one that I could build and integrate. I would just give it, I've never built an agent before, but I'm assuming I'd just give it a folder of typical emails I trash, or just link it to my trash folder. Basically, this is what gets trashed, and then give it my contact list and just say none of this gets trashed, and then like give it the emails that I typically read, and then yeah, it can sort them based on what I do. But then I would like it to provide a summary, an accurate one of what it did. So that's the sort of things that agents can do, and any software soon there'll be agents for. I think, like, all your softwares are gonna have agents in them that you'll be able to use and automate stuff and get super quick, super good results. So yeah, basically any software as a service company, SaaS company, you're going to see them now focusing on integrating AI to them. So whether you have, who knows, whatever it is, bookkeeping, design tools, everything, Silicon Valley is just going to start transforming from SaaS tools to integrating them with AI. That doesn't mean new SaaS tools won't come out, they still will, but they'll probably come out with AI vertically integrated on top of them so that the AI can use the tools, and then you being able to create your own ones for the tools you use and for the things you do is going to be super important. Like, even cars now, they have these AI tools, but they're basically agents, and whether they're horizontally integrated and then there's some vertical integration on the agents. But like all your sensors, like say you put in a map, like a destination, but then there's all like collision sensors and red light sensors for self-driving. All of these things, they're individual agents that know specific tasks, but then there's vertical, they're all horizontal, so they're managing all your sensors and everything. And then there's the horizontal integration where they're passing information. Then that's, you know, moving up and down the chain, you know, apply the brakes, disengage the brakes, change your gear. You know, we're turning left. And that's, you know, all these, they will be AI agents that are in your self-driving cars. It's basically the technology. And then that's going to just be in everything. I don't know why more of it isn't in audio processing. I reckon it's going to be a super cool idea to have, and they could be working on it, but I just haven't heard of it. Like an AI that looks at what's on the TV. Like say you have source media that is 2-channel and you want it to be surround sound because you've got a surround sound system. You will have an agent that looks at the image up to like, I don't know, 10 seconds before it's viewed on your screen. And the image, then it can know, like it looks at the image and, oh, there was a car that comes into the frame, but there was an explosion first. And then that car came into the frame and went across. So that explosion was actually a bit behind us. And then it knows to place that explosion in like a Dolby Atmos setting behind you. So you got different softwares like Dolby Atmos and you know, Netflix. And then in your AVR receiver, you got these AIs, which means you've got to have a GPU in there as well to process this information. But like with video upscaling and everything, your TV's already getting GPUs. And then it's basically going to upscale that two-channel information to surround sound quite accurately and give you that immersion. Like if there's, say, a bird tweeting, it'll be able to go, well, there's no bird in the frame, and birds fly and are usually above your ear level, so we'll put that into the Atmos channels, like up above you, not in the surround channels behind you. Or yeah, so many, and I think it'll be quite easy to integrate that. But once again, all your equipment's going to get more expensive because you're going to need a graphics card to run the AIs. Anyway, I said it here first, hey, that we're going to see Dolby Atmos upscaling in the audiophile world as part of AIs. But the possibilities are limitless, right? Like with the AIs, like that is just an idea, you know, that I've been thinking of, but I don't have the skills to implement that, and I don't have the time to create a startup. I wish I had time and like an effort to create a startup, because even if somebody is doing it right now, it doesn't mean, you know, it wouldn't stop me, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's a little bit about some of the AIs I'm using, what I think about AI, where I think you should place your skills, primarily in, you know, in prompt engineering, and now starting to figure out agents. And yeah, that's just going to give you a massive leg up. Don't worry about the individual tools, play around with what tools give you the best results, the most accurate results. Yeah, have fun, because the stuff you can make and do is super cool. So yeah, cheers guys, long episode again. Hopefully these long episodes work, but yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.